Unless you are an essential worker on your way to an exempted business, you should be at home.
Be burnt out, retired, but you still have to move forward every single day.
Bahamians hit with a second lockdown as health officials move to curb the spread of COVID-19 on that island. Good morning, everyone. I'm LaDawn Davis, and this is the Morning Edition. Thank you so much for waking up with us. Residents in Grand Bahama were expecting their 2-week lockdown to end today, but instead a further extension has been implemented to help slow and control community spread of the virus there. Ramiko Knowles reports.
Minister of State for Grand Bahama, Senator the Honorable Kwesi Thompson, announcing the extension of the current lockdown. Minister Thompson noting that the decision to extend the lockdown was made after consultation with health officials.
The lockdown implemented for Grand Bahama from the 23rd of July to the 7th of August will be extended to Wednesday, the 19th of August at 5 a.m.
Minister Thompson noting that the decision was made in order to continue to slow the community spread of the COVID-19 virus on Grand Bahama, as the numbers have been increasing.
As of Wednesday, the 5th of August, health officials have confirmed 336 confirmed cases of COVID on the island.
In addition, the Minister of State adds that the lockdown order that took effect for the entire country on Tuesday, August 4th, will continue to apply to Grand Bahama through the end of this extended lockdown period. And as a reminder, on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays from 7 a.m. to 5 p.m., the following will be allowed to operate for the general public:
grocery stores, gas stations for external services only, pharmacies for curbside services, water depots, bakeries for curbside and delivery, water and ice production companies for curbside and delivery services only, and hardware stores for curbside and delivery. On Saturdays, grocery stores, pharmacies for curbside, gas stations for external, and water depots are permitted to open from 7 a.m. to 1 p.m. for essential work.
Commercial banks will be permitted to provide client face-to-face services on Monday, Wednesday, and Fridays. The Grand Bahama Food Task Force will continue to provide food for those residents in need during the extended lockdown. Now, for the complete list of exempted businesses and services, you can access the Emergency COVID-19 Pandemic Lockdown Order 2020 on ops.gov.bs. Information is also available on the Office of the Prime Minister's social media platforms. Senator the Honorable Kwesi Thompson is urging the residents of Grand Bahama and across the entire Bahamas to follow the guidelines that have been put in place for their protection.
Today, while it was a day where grocery stores and gas stations are closed, we still see too many vehicles on the streets. Unless you are an essential worker on your way to an exempted business or an exempted organization, you should be at home on Tuesdays and on Thursdays and on the weekends.
The Minister of State advising all that we must work together to stop the spread of the virus on Grand Bahama. Ramiko Knowles, ZNS Network News.
Grand Bahama has 336 confirmed cases of the coronavirus, and now nurses there say they are tired, frustrated, and fed up with the system. A number of them called in sick on Thursday. Apparently, the nurses indicated that they are working around the clock without consistent access to proper PPEs and working without insufficient working space to care for the community, and say they are not covered by insurance. Head of the Grand Bahama COVID-19 Task Force, Dr. Frank Bartlett.
And all the essential services, you're not just looking at health. be burnt out, you're tired, but you still have to move forward every single day. Our task force, our first meeting was January 29th. We've had, you can probably count the amount of days we've had off on one hand, okay? That's how much we've had off. So when you mix that, trying to deal with our community, trying to make sure, as the minister alluded to, that nobody has a negative impact because of it, trying to balance your family, trying to do all the other things that you have responsibilities for on a daily basis, it's quite easy to see why people would say that they are exhausted. That is a reality. It's nothing you can run away from.
Dr. Bartlett also spoke to concerns over supplies on Grand Bahama for nurses.
It's a global problem. That's a particular problem to the Bahamas, and it's something that is a challenge to address. PPEs that we have now, we have sufficient at this point in time. One of the part of our exercises at a local level and at a national level is addressing those deficits and to make sure they are addressed in a timely fashion. So we've not really had a particular challenge with any of the PPEs recently.
Meantime, mitigating measures taken following widespread COVID-19 on the ward of a public health care facility, the Sandilands Rehabilitation Center have activated their isolation wards after 23 of its patients tested positive for the coronavirus. The Public Hospitals Authority say the discovery was made on the male ward at Sandilands after a staff member who worked on 3 wards at that facility tested positive for the virus. Now 6 of those patients are said to be symptomatic and the others are all asymptomatic. Additionally, aggressive sanitization of wards is underway at the Sandilands Rehabilitation Center. COVID numbers nationwide saw a slight increase on Thursday with 10 additional cases. New Providence accounted for 7 of those new positive cases. In Bimini, there were 2 additional findings pushing that island's COVID numbers to 34. And there is 1 more confirmed case at Abaco, bringing that island's COVID figures to 2. Grand Bahama saw no new cases on Thursday. Overall COVID-19 numbers in the Bahamas stand at 761. Health officials will speak to these latest discoveries and recommendations this afternoon. The live press conference is set for 3 o'clock. It will be carried live on the ZNS television and radio networks. Now, there are some guidelines to follow if you're not feeling well under the current pandemic. President of the Physicians and Consultants Association, Dr. Sabrika Pinder, says patients seeking to visit private facilities for medical observations must adhere to the following protocols.
First thing we want you to do is please call ahead. Okay? At this particular time, all of us should be trying to call all of the institutions before we present so that we're able to speak to the healthcare team, physician or nurses, to let them know the symptoms that we're experiencing. That way we can properly advise you. Certainly, if we think that someone is suspected of having COVID, at that time we will also refer or advise them to and make a referral for them to the South Beach Clinic as necessary, or if it is that the person needs emergent care, the physician will make that link with the accident and emergency and advise the patient accordingly if necessary.
4 out of every 5 people globally have been affected by lockdowns, creating the largest shift in social activity and working practice. Quite a number of people have also lost their jobs, and there are individuals who are unsure if they will return to work. Consultant physician Dr. Nakia Forbes says there needs to be multiple layers of protection at work, which includes the proper wearing of face masks.
In your workplaces, you may have a collegial relationship with your colleagues. You may see each other every day. And sometimes we put our guard down a little bit and we don't wear masks around each other, including in healthcare settings. I went to a webinar earlier in this COVID outbreak, and Johns Hopkins was talking about their experience in one of their hospitals. And they found that people who spend a lot of time together, for example, rounding and so on, that they might not wear a mask when they're rounding, or they may gather around and talk, and that may be happening in the workplaces. But we've got to remember, we got to keep our masks on all the time, especially when we share an office with somebody, and we can't just feel like, okay, I'm going to take my mask down, I'm used to you, because you know what, you're sharing germs. That's what it works out to at the end of the day.
And still to come, a local business explains the pinch of the pandemic and speaks on the road to economic recovery. You're watching The Morning Edition.
Hi, welcome to Dream Girls. We offer a wide variety of hair care, and your everyday beauty needs.
Here at Dream Girls, we carry a wide variety of products for natural or relaxed hair, such as ORS, Pure Care, and Shea Moisture. We also carry a large selection of weaving, braiding, and crochet hair. You can expect to find a private wig room, a large variety of products, and service with a smile. Whether you're shopping for a party, a corporate event, or your everyday working woman, Dream Girls can make your dream become a reality. Live your dream, experience your dream, Dream Girls.
We have 3 convenient locations to serve you: Village Road Shopping Center, Prince Charles Shopping Center, and Legacy Plaza located on Prince Charles next to BTC Cash and Go. Here at Dream Girls, enhancing beauty becomes your reality.
We'll be with you through new beginnings and sunset endings, through toil and many tears, through the joys and many fears. For all of life's ever-changing moments, trust J.S. Johnson Insurance Agents and Brokers for all of your insurance needs. J.S. Johnson Insurance Agents and Brokers, giving you peace of mind.
We, the body of the Bahamas Association of Medical Technologists, or BAMAT, offer this pronouncement because our celebratory activities were suspended. We wish to say thank you to all essential healthcare workers, police and defense force officers, and to encourage the youth of this nation to seek out fields in the medical laboratory profession, and to let you know that this is a viable option for a successful and rewarding career. Scholarships are available through the Ministries of Health and Education to help you reach your goals. This announcement is brought to you by the Bahamas Association of Medical Technologists in conjunction with the Broadcasting Corporation of the Bahamas.
Welcome back to the Morning Edition. A local souvenir store losing a lot of its clientele and forced to shut its doors after the country's borders closed for a second time. We caught up with proprietor of Souvenirs to find out about her alternative options to earn a living during the COVID-19 fight.
The decision is, to close because it doesn't make any sense.
Proprietor of Souvenirs, Sonia Bo Adderley, says although the borders are closed, she remains hopeful that business will pick up after the world gets a handle on the deadly coronavirus. Her business, Souvenirs, is located next door to the John Watling's distillery off West Street and has in stock everything imaginable from straw and conch shell handbags to ambrosia and other Bahamian-made souvenirs. Sonia says while she appreciates the strict safety and social distancing protocols to safeguard us from COVID-19, she never dreamed a virus would put sales on a standstill and cripple her pocket this way.
I mean, everybody's pressuring you to pay bills and whatever, and just to keep up with your rent, So, being in business and the type of business, selling souvenirs, okay, you have no tourist. I must say, though, I've had really good Bahamian support, but then if everybody, not having the kind of income they are accustomed to having, of course your sales are going to go down.
The deadline in sales forced Sonia to tap into producing items like masks and hand sanitizers that are considered a must-have in the new normal.
My sister came one day and she says, "You sitting here, you could sew, and everybody out there making masks. Why don't you start making masks?" And so I was making the mask, and then we thought about doing the hand sanitizer, and so we started doing the hand sanitizer. But of course now, it's like the mass is dying down. You have so many people who are doing it.
Believe it or not, though, Sonia says despite the loss of the tourism dollar, her biggest customers were Bahamians.
We had the tourists come in, but I had more support from Bahamians. Once they come in and, they see authentic Bahamian products if they're traveling and they need gifts. I've had, where I had to do gift baskets and stuff, if there's like a conference or something. And so, things were looking good.
And so to keep her head above water, Sonia says she has to take her sewing skills to a whole new level.
I'm thinking of doing my business online. Getting back into the sewing. I'm thinking of coming up like with a children's line. I've always done a baby line, so I'm thinking of quite a number of things. I'm not saying that I may not open again, but I think to be sensible about it, it's best.
Central Bank officials say significant progress is being made with the Bahamian digital currency project. The Sand Dollar launched last year in Exuma. Central Bank Governor John Rowles says efforts are underway to complete the integration of the infrastructure with the rest of the banking system.
There's also focus on addressing the assessment of the security of the infrastructure, in terms of the resilience of the infrastructure against cyber attacks and other mishaps. Once that work is concluded, we will have most of the assurances that we need to make the currency available to the wider public. We are anticipating that access on a national basis will begin during the month of October.
Rowles says there haven't been any challenges with the rollout of digital payments.
Present, between the money transmission businesses and the entities that are being licensed under the Payment System Act, we have potentially, I think, 9 entities that can provide digital payment services in various formats. And they are at various stages of engagement with the central bank in participating in the digital currency rollout.
Veteran farmer Kevin Farquharson says the Bahamas is far behind when it comes to adhering to the message to feed ourselves, especially in the midst of COVID-19. Farquharson says the country's food import bill could be saved if we think of innovative ways to become self-sufficient. He credits the Caribbean nation of Jamaica for their self-reliant efforts.
It's about, I guess, 65% self-sufficient. Every time you go in the food store, you see a Jamaican hot sauce, Jamaican ackee in the can. Grace does all of these stuff. Why we can't do it? A can ackee costs $9. I got ackee on the side of the road, they're dropping down on the ground. Why we can't can peas? We can't do okra. Things we be thrown away. I mean, we can't do it.
Says while that is a major issue, there are a number of challenges farmers across this country are facing when producing crops.
4 type of thieves. You got a 2-legged thief that named man. You got raccoons. You got cats. You got snakes that come and eat your chicken, because I produce chicken eggs and chickens also. Then the minute vermin like the bugs, the snails, the slugs, the white fly, the ephus, and you got to use your head and take care of all these things. That's it. That's the challenge. So anybody who's coming into this field, I advise them to know what they're against and be prepared sometimes to get your heart broke. Okay, prepare for that. Don't come in here naive. Oh, I'm going to plan this, I'm going to do this, I'm going to raise that. I put $10 in, at the end of the day, I'm going to have $40. No, somebody put $20 in, at the end of the day, you have nothing.
Well, it's a busy scene on this Friday morning. Scores of drivers already queued up near this Chelsea's Choice on Abundant Life Road. On the other side of the break, a look at your overnight traffic as well as tips to drivers during lockdown.
Well, it's almost the weekend, but the country will continue on lockdown. Lloyd Allen and the morning traffic team is standing by with your Friday traffic commute.
The traffic report is sponsored by Bahamas First. First in insurance. Today, tomorrow.
Well, good morning again, LaDon. Good morning, Bahamas. This morning, we're here near Abundant Life Road, near the Chelsea's Choice Water Depot, and I'm joined by Sergeant Crestania Johnson from the Royal Bahamas Police Force Traffic Division, who's been a bit busy this morning directing traffic, but is giving us an initial look at overnight traffic.
A pleasant good morning to you and a pleasant good morning, Bahamas. Well, overnight, we've only had one traffic accident, and that occurred in the East Street and Ross Corner area. That was investigated by the Curfew Enforcement Unit. This time, just coming in this morning, we had a traffic accident that just occurred on the Seabreeze Lane area near the canals. Officers are en route to investigating. There are currently 13 persons who are still hospitalized as a result of being involved in a traffic accident.
And additionally, this morning, as we're here at this location, obviously scores of persons already making their way, hoping to get some water. What general advice can you, or rather, what have you observed so far with motorists during these sort of periods? Okay,
during the long wait, drivers tend to engage in distracted driving. A lot of persons have been warned reference to their cell phones in hand while operating their vehicles. Because once they're in their vehicles and they're now distracted, we have long lulls, we have long gaps in the traffic. So once we have that flowing and have persons paying attention to the street, then we're able to move a lot quicker.
Well, some great advice coming in there from Sergeant Johnson. Additionally, we spoke with her just a few days ago to give us some more details on what drivers need to know during lockdown. Take a look.
What do drivers need to know during lockdown? Tip number 1, plan your trips.
As you know, the country is going to be on a lockdown for the next 2 weeks. We advise the general public as much as possible to stay at home and to practice social distancing.
Tip number 2, make contact with police during complete lockdown periods.
For motorists who need to traverse the streets during the Monday, Wednesday, and Friday period, we ask you as much as possible to plan that day before you go onto the street. Assign someone to do your grocery and whatever services you require during that period. Additionally, as it pertains to any emergencies that were to take place, if you have to come out on the days that you're not required to be on the road, that is Tuesday, Thursday, and during the weekend period, to contact the 311 hotline or any of the telephone hotlines that they've provided for you. That is 326-6346, 326-7871, or 322-1051.
Tip number 3, be prepared for unexpected events.
If any traffic accident was to occur while you're on the street, remember, you want to stay at that scene. If you're involved in a hit-and-run accident, please note the description of that vehicle, the color, where that vehicle was traveling, where they left, and what actually occurred, the license plate number. All of this to better assist the investigating officers once they come onto that scene.
And obviously some great advice there coming in from Officer Johnson. Any final words, Officer Johnson?
Well, what I can only think about is the fact that we must stay safe, stay healthy, continue to practice social distancing, and for as much as possible, just be about this keeper. Just as we are now standing up and talking, we're 6 feet apart and we have our masks on. We want to encourage the general public to do the same. As you traverse the streets, please, at all costs, pay attention to the street. Pay attention to all persons who are using the road, especially our pedestrians. So again, be safe and see you on Monday.
Well, thank you so much for that update. Again, reporting here from near the Abundant Life Road, Chelsea's Choice Water Depot for the morning edition. Lloyd Allen, ZNS Network News.
Thanks a lot, Lloyd. Well, a lot of adjustments made at various levels due to the threat of the coronavirus. And in this report, Charles Fisher speaks to the officer in charge of the Southeastern Division, Chief Superintendent Talinda Mizik, about some of those changes.
She is one of 3 females in charge of districts on New Providence. Chief Superintendent Talinda Mizik is responsible for perhaps one of the largest of the force, the Southeastern Division.
It encompasses that about, I think, 26 communities within this district: Imperial Park, Hope Gardens, Highbury Park, Nassau Village, Pinewood Gardens, Garden Hills 1, 2, and 3, Fraser Subdivision, Malcolm Allotment East, West. You have South Beach, Bamboo Town, Jasmine Gardens, Seven Hills Estates, and there are several others, so you ought to be familiar with your area station.
A very high populated area That means a lot happens.
One of the largest and the most active. We encounter offenses of all sorts. We are up to the task with, I believe, high police visibility in the area. We foster excellent community partnerships with the business persons, church leaders, the schools, civic organizations, and the like. We are up and about in the community. We do regular walkabouts, and the Commission of Policing Plan 2020 gave us a guide on how we should execute our daily function.
Now, COVID-19 has really dealt some changes.
Of course, we have to tailor down a lot of our initiatives. Officers are constantly made aware that self-preservation is key, and daily remind them to follow the protocols that govern good hygiene, the washing of hands, the wearing of face masks, social distancing, and even when we interact with members of the public, to keep that at the forefront of our minds.
Hopefully, when all this is over, there are some initiatives that she wants to put in place.
Engaging the youths, going out into school, speaking to assemblies, addressing the students on bullying, addressing them on sexual abuse, letting them know that it's not right, and to speak up, find your guidance counselor or those who you confide in. And if you see something, do something about it. We want to re-kick the school bans, the after-school programs. As a matter of fact, as we canvass the community, we have a number of the youth leaders in our communities who are anxious and waiting to get the program started that has been halted as a result of COVID-19.
For the Morning Edition, I'm Charles Fisher.
Thanks a lot, Fisher. Stay close. We've got more right after this. You're watching The Morning Edition.
Influenza or the flu can be serious, causing hospitalization and sometimes death. One of the best ways to prevent acquiring the flu is to get your annual flu shot. Flu shots are available free of charge at all community clinics. The following high-risk persons are encouraged to get their annual flu shots: children 6 months and older, pregnant women, adults over the age of 50, persons with asthma, diabetes, hypertension, or a weakened immune system resulting from cancer and/or HIV, persons in nursing homes, and healthcare providers. Additional information regarding the flu shot can be provided by your nearest community clinic or the Health Education Division at the Ministry of Health. This message is brought to you by the Ministry of Health in partnership with the Public Hospitals Authority.
Is sponsored by Bank of the Bahamas, the bank of solutions.
And in your weather forecast today, a weak surface ridging activity will support light to moderate winds across the area, while an upper-level trough moves across the southeast Bahamas with increased showers through tomorrow. Boaters should be alert for the risk of waterspout activity in all areas. Weather partly cloudy, warm and humid tonight with isolated showers and thunderstorms. Weather turning partly sunny, hot and humid tomorrow with a few showers and stray thunderstorms. The high temperature today is 91 degrees and the overnight low is 81 degrees. Remember to stay tuned to the ZNS Network, your best choice for local, regional, and international COVID-19 coverage. And that's a wrap for us this morning. For the entire team, I'm LaDon Davis. Have a great day and a safe weekend, everyone.